We've got quite a bit. We're
Nice.
probably 4 to 6 inches right now, and it's still snowing.
Yeah. Cool. I love it. It's beautiful.
Did
I'm
you
gonna
end up
get this
going?
meeting going on. Oh, what?
Are you? Or did you end up going from doing this from home, or you go, or did you go to work?
No, I'm here at the office.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll talk to you in a few. I'm gonna get it going on the
Uh,
website and everything.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So I'm out of town and I have really weak Wi-Fi, and I also have no luggage. So I'm wearing the same clothes I've been wearing for 36 hours. Um, so I'd like to keep this short today, if that is at all possible. And I'm on my phone because I can't get my computer to work. So we're in a great space this morning.
Me too, but I don't have any excuse for it. So
Our bags are in Phoenix.
Where are you?
I'm in Anaheim. We're here to visit some family on Ryan's side. So
It took us 4 days to get our luggage in Paris.
Paris, I can see. Garden Grove is my struggle here. Like, it was a one-stop shop. It was one plane up, same one down. Why the bags didn't make it is a big mystery to me. They're in Phoenix. That's the last we've heard. So
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, ours had an adventure too.
Paris makes sense. Not John Wayne. But at least I'm warmer. I'm overdressed for this weather. You guys are getting all the good weather over there.
Yeah. It is good.
I'm trying to figure out how to position my phone here.
You look marvelous in sunny California, Amanda.
Why, thank you. The view from my window is not quite as serene as yours.
Oh. Well, we didn't get as much snow as we were supposed to, so it's rather disappointing.
The kids they canceled school at like 2:00 yesterday.
I know, I think it was because they were really getting hit, obviously downhill, and
Yeah.
for everybody who has to come up that way. But yeah, Clear Creek didn't get like more than a couple inches.
I'm trying to see. It's going to be a little tricky for me to see who all is on because I have to do this from my stupid phone. Because the Wi-Fi at the Great Wolf Lodge is not all bad.
Wow. Tell me you want a discount.
I know. I'm not sure who to be more mad at, the airline or the hotel.
You can get a whole new wardrobe, maybe.
I don't know if Southwest will spring for a whole new wardrobe. Last night they told us we could go, they would give us $50, which was basically toothbrushes
Yeah. That's too
for all
bad.
4 of us.
Hey, at least the stuffed animals made it. That's the important thing.
Thank God the kids had those in their carry-ons. We did actually get the boys back. It's just Ryan and I's bag, and then the toiletries bag that didn't make it. All right. Do we have a quorum? I'm trying to see. I see Steve. I see Kyle. I see Kevin. Okay. And I see Mary. Okay, yeah, we have a quorum. All right, we will go ahead and get started. It is, 8:02 a.m., not 7:02. It's 7:02 where I am. On Wednesday, February 2nd, we'll call this meeting of the Georgetown Business Promotions Commission to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Hey, Chairman Amanda Cooper,
Here.
Kevin Kaharik,
Here.
Steve Skalski,
here,
Mary Smith,
Here,
Kyle Rutten,
Here.
okay, and I believe that is all of the commission members that are here today.
Thank
So we
you.
have Justin's absent. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sending the link again to Jen. She's having a hard time connecting.
Big Jen's on.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw her. Okay, sorry. Let me get this up. Okay, we're going to make a couple of amendments to the agenda. We're going to table, please, the mission statement for the Business Promotions Commission, the workforce support discussion. We need to add on, please, a discussion for Memorial Day. And there was one other thing we needed to add, and I apologize, I cannot remember what. Mary, do you remember?
4th of July.
4th of July, thank you very much. And then the street lamps, Kevin, thank you so much. Okay, can I please have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I make a
I'll make
motion to approve.
And,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I can't see if we have any attendees. Do we have any audience business?
We do. Let me promote, it's Deanne Powell. I'll promote her right now.
Thank you.
Selectman, did say Selectman Powell.
Good morning, Selectman Powell. How are you today?
Oops, let me see if there yet. Hold on, sorry. Oh, there she is, okay.
Good morning, Selectman Powell. How are you today? Do we have her?
She's shown as muted.
Yeah. Okay, I'm here as a person, not as any official capacity. I'm here as a citizen of Georgetown who loves the town and the whole county for that matter. I'm really still very concerned about the design of Strauss Park. It's not going to be compatible with downtown as it stands from that DHM, the elevations and things that I've seen. It's very, very important for not only our feel and look and character of Georgetown to keep it, but it's going to kill our economy if we change it to, you know, having a McDonald's downtown on the corner of 6th and Rose. It needs to look very old-fashioned and be in keeping with all of the Christmas market posters, and the new stuff isn't that way. So please, please consider rejecting the current, what would you call it, design, and staying with something much more in keeping with Georgetown's. I mean, I came here because of the history. I came here 30 years ago and I'm seeing the whole county go down, but you know, nobody goes to Breckenridge or Blackhawk for the history anymore because they've allowed it to get lost in all sorts of neon and zoomy modern buildings and things. And we have a chance to hold on to the value that we have and to continue to showcase it as has been going on for about 70 years now. So please, as the business business promotion committee, please, please reject the DHM design and try to keep Georgetown its happy little 1870s, 80s, 90s looking place. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. And I know, I'm not sure how we can impact that matter at the moment without, I mean, I know DRC has approved some designs, and the last designs I saw specifically of the booths were honestly, in my opinion, very similar to the booths that currently exist. And I know we do have an update on the Strauss Park booths on the agenda this morning, but I do appreciate your comments and I thank you for being on the meeting this morning, and we will definitely take them into consideration. Do we have any other audience business this morning?
We do not.
Okay, awesome. On to welcome to business owners and managers. Do we have any new business owners or managers that are on the agenda this morning that want to talk about anything that's going on?
Nope.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. I am going to take my video down for a second and mute briefly, I know Cindy's on this morning. Are you here on the Strauss Park shelter, Cindy, or are you here for something else that's fun?
I'm sitting in for Bob Hamilton, who had a doctor's appointment this morning, so I am here to discuss what is actually being proposed for the Strauss Park shelters.
Excellent. It's very timely, obviously, to have you here at the top of the agenda. I was in attendance at the meeting with Bob, but I will give the floor to you. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not a good substitute for Bob in any technical way. He really does. He is the one who has sort of driven this project. At this point, Bob is putting forth two options on doing what I would call is sort of an upgrade of what exists in Strauss Park. I think that his approach was very similar to actually what Selectman Powell was suggesting. It was very much, how do we keep the look that we want to keep? The DHM proposal, we have at this point are presenting two options and are asking for the opinion of this board between those two options. The two options are identical in materials, and we are recommending changing the materials that were suggested by DHM in order to keep our booths the kind of wooden structures that they currently are, and give them an asphalt roof as opposed to a metal looking roof, so that we retain sort of more the rustic feel of the booths. For the booths along the wall, in option one, which is what DHM suggested, the booths along the wall will be lengthened towards the park a bit. So instead of a 6-foot depth, they will end up with an 8-foot depth. That's true for both options. DHM was suggesting where the L is, where the L comes out at the end of the booth, that corner booth be taken out and in its entirely, and those two booths, the two remaining booths, be shoved back or placed back by the parking, a little bit further back towards the parking area. And that would leave a space in between the side booths and the end booth, and a substantial space so that people could go through to get to the restroom, which will be backed up against the back of the Nicelin Anderson hardware. The restroom will not be visible in either option from the park, but you would go through that space. That space is wide enough that the DHM would have to put a windscreen in it, because we really don't want to create a wind tunnel coming through the park. And we all know the direction the wind blows. So we don't want it to be in. So that's option one. Option two would leave the booths along Nicelin Anderson the same, but would leave the booths that are in the L shape right where they are. The booths that are there have a storage unit in the back. The L-shaped booth has a storage unit. We would enlarge that storage unit a little bit so that the side slats that create the divisions between the booths could be stored right on site. And so it would be easy to change it from a booth configuration to a more open configuration if we wanted to. In both options, you can change the configuration, but in option one, the storage, you have to build a storage shed across the park. Option two, leaving the booths where they are, we'd still take out the middle booth to provide a way for people to walk through to the restroom, but it would not open it up as much, and it would leave a roof on it so it would appear to be connected. and people could walk through it. And so you wouldn't have to build your extra wind wall because your extra wall would be there. So Bob's question to every commission, and he's going to every one of them this week, to every commission is, what do you think that what is your feeling about which way this should go? When he prices it out, the DHM comes in at about 243,000, and the retaining the L shape, because we're expanding the storage, comes to about 253,000. The difficulty, not the difficulty, but the DHM one doesn't include the price for building the storage shed you'd have to build across the other side of the parking lot. So if, honestly, both Bob and I favor option 2, because it leaves us very much in current configuration. And what it's principally doing is enlarging booths slightly and sort of renewing their appearance rather than dramatically changing it. But I'm open for questions, and we're seriously after the opinion, please, of the Promotions Commission on which of these options they might like to advance.
Thank you so much, Cindy. With that, I did see a comment in the chat, and I will open it up. I know Steve Skalski and I had the opportunity to attend the kind of the mini Parks and Rec presentation that took place, and there is some materials that were given to us that night, and those materials are available in email. I don't know if Jen or Cindy has those, that they could send them to the rest of the commission. But Kevin, since you were the first in the chat, go ahead and take the floor.
Yes, I just would benefit from seeing the 2 options. So I think I followed your description, but I would prefer to see the options. So if diagrams or renderings or anything can be emailed, that would be most beneficial to me.
I mean, I can try to share the screen. You guys, I did include it in the packet.
Okay, I'll look in my packet. I don't want to just glance at it now. I want to ruminate on it. So
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thanks. The other thing I want to bring up, and I've brought this up before, is let's not miss the component of programming these booths. And I think that is why they sit empty now, largely sit empty now. And if we are in the business of business in Georgetown, we need to have a plan that's executed about how to get these booths occupied and contributing to the economy of the town. So let's not just fix them up and let them sit. So programming is super important to me. Thank you.
I think
Absolutely.
that programming issue really does sort of belong actually to you guys. What we're trying to do is, quite frankly, we have posts that are rotting, and we've got a roof that's bad. We're trying to leave the most flexible arrangement possible for programming, so that you have something where you can create booths or you can leave open shelter, so that but at this juncture, our question is really sort of fundamentally let's fix these so they are not in the condition they're in now without going overboard.
Yeah. And I've noticed, I go down to the park regularly, and I've noticed the posts are rotting, and it seems to be a public health and safety issue at this point. So something must be done. There's no question.
Jen White, would it be possible, could you please actually pull up the sketches while we're in discussion, just so everyone who wasn't at that meeting?
Yeah,
I'm having a hard
can pull
time.
up
Thank you. Go ahead. Thank
one
you
at
so
a
much.
time. So let me know which ones you guys want, and I'll pull it up.
I am in, unfortunately, Wi-Fi hell right now, and as we can tell, I'm taking the meeting on my phone, and I'm trying to get this things to download, so I don't know what the page would be.
Let me try to pull up option 2. Just give me a sec.
Thank you so much. When we had the meeting, a couple of points. One of them was that the if I remember right, and Cindy, please correct me if I'm wrong, the booths, the fronts are removable from what I remember, correct? So one of the components that was discussed in a kind of the subcommittee rather, was that if the booth fronts can be removed, that we could use the booths for kind of everyday activities, which was a idea that was floated previously to enhance it so that like even on like a rainy day, people could use them for a picnic. You know, they can have a picnic table in there, they could put something back there. That the back of the booth would have some type of, I don't want to say decor, but something Georgetown appropriate, like a map or something kind of. Is that correct, Cindy?
Well, you've got a back of a booth that is a solid wall that
Correct.
A wall that to which you could attach just about anything that you wanted to. Both the front and the sides of the booth will come out. This is option 1, and what it shows. And there's option 2. Let's go back to option 1. There's option 1. All right, stop there, Jen, please. What that is showing is the positioning of the booths. And this is the option where you would push that the two booths that are on the L, where you would push them back and you would have the larger opening, and the blue line is where your wind wall is. The difference between these options is really the placement of that L shape. All options would have the same materials. All would be flexible. They could be wide open. They could be in booths with no fronts. They could be in booths with fronts. All those are removable pieces that have to be stored somewhere. This option has storage across the park. And what you see on the back side of the long booth in the little 2 pink boxes is where your restroom is. It's just not visible from the park. It doesn't. All right, if Jen, roll it down, please. You see the difference in this option is that the roof is maintained all the way around. What it does not show is that there's a walking break. The green piece is the addition to the storage that is there so that all elements of the booths can be kept right there, so that when you take out the booth sides and fronts, you can store them right in the storage section, so that you can organize the space in that line of booths in whichever way fits the function that you have planned. That's the difference between the 2 options. Both options do move the fire ring more towards the center. And put in a gas-fired ring instead of a natural fire, because our days probably of being able to run a big bonfire may have closed. Does that
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, that helps a lot. So Kevin, from a programming standpoint, does that help clarify kind of the direction?
Yeah, that is helpful. I do have another question, brought up another question. Sure. Square footage of the 2 options, option 1 and option 2, equal? Is one bigger than the other?
Yes. And again, I'm sorry, I cannot get anything to download. I'm a really effective chair this morning.
Slightly.
I can share something else.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Which option is larger with covered square footage, if that helps?
Well, yeah, what's the difference? One may be larger, but it may be insignificant.
Or less usable. That's what I'm trying to find out is, is there a trade-off? If we get more space, is it less usable than smaller space that's more usable? I'm just trying to ferret out a decision on my part.
The booth width, we could in either option make the booths that right now the booths are 8 feet wide and 6 feet deep, 6 feet wide and 8 feet deep. Yeah, this one doesn't quite, what we're doing is
it.
pulling the booth out to where the post is now in
Yeah.
both option. The difference can be, we could make them a little wider from post to post. In other words, the posts are on 8-inch wide things, 8 feet apart at the moment. And you could make them almost up to 10 feet apart, which would make each booth a little bit wider. It would give you fewer booths. And so right now we're saying that we on occasions we can really fill those booths. So you always have the option of a double booth anyway, if you just pull the wall between the booths. So option 2 stays with the 8 feet wide. So does option 1 at the moment, but either option could go to 10 feet wide. It changes the number of possible booths. You see what I'm saying? If you can
I
pull
do.
the centers out, you can have a bigger booth anyway.
I think
So-
that's brilliant.
Our thought was that we wanted to stay with the number of booths because we know. on
Agreed.
this market, we
Agreed.
can fill them.
Right. Okay, let me try to pose the question differently. I don't think I'm being quite clear. So the L configuration that matches what's there now, and then I'm going to call it the broken L where the building is set back. Are those equal in covered square footage, or are we losing some square footage with the broken L?
You're not really using merchantable square footage because we're still going to essentially, even in the one that goes around, we are going to essentially break through that corner. So there is a passageway so you can get to the back.
So it's fairly equal.
Essentially, yes, the usable
Fairly equal.
square footage stays equal.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Storage square footage is totally different.
Okay, and I have one other comment to make, and then I'm through.
You're good, Kevin.
I think that the renovation of this park presents an opportunity for some historical interpretation. And I want to point out that we have at this point very little communication to the public and into our own population about the contributions of Jewish people in Georgetown. Strauss Park is named after a Jewish family. The Strausses were merchants here in Georgetown. And so I think this is an excellent time to hold that up, expand on that, and inform people who the Strausses are and the Jewish contributions in Georgetown.
Actually,
Go ahead, Cindy.
it's interesting because I think of all of the, that whole back wall, if you take out the obstructions, that whole back wall becomes an exhibit area for all kinds of things, actually. And the leaving that wing wall or having that back wall as you walking towards the restrooms was intended to be able to first of all, advertise at events, but also give yourself some background on the park. And what this does not do, this is not a complete remodel of the park at all. I mean, what we're talking about at this juncture is fixing the booths and moving a fire pit.
Now, the footprint of the park definitely stays pretty consistent to what we have seen, what we're all used to. I know that, excuse me, when we met with Bob Hamilton and the Parks and Rec team, there was a lot of really thoughtful discussion over how the booths can remain similar footprint and also, but make them more functional. Because one of the things that we do have to address, whether, whether your stance on it is one side or the other, is that we do need the booths to be marketable to other events besides Christmas market. And the fact that they sit generally vacant 362 days a year will say is behoove the town from a revenue standpoint or an economic standpoint. So I think that's our purposes for BPC, making sure that we're engaging in that discussion piece is really important. And we're very grateful that we are being engaged right now. Kevin, excellent comments. And I had no idea that the Strausses were a family here in Georgetown. So I learned something new today. Does anyone else in the commission have any thoughts on the Strauss Park refresh? Oh, I'm sorry, one point. One of the discussion pieces we did have is that this is potentially going to impact summer. Is that correct, Cindy? I mean, like we might be seeing some construction in the summer that everyone needs to kind of be prepared for. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. And we are actually looking for the promotions to sort of say A or B. It seems more favorable to us. I would like to address Deanne's question in the chat for a minute. The asphalt shingles that will be the 50-year fire resistance. One of the problems with putting the metal roof on there is snow slides, and it does slide. So metal roofs, you have to try to keep a pedestrian distance away from the ends of metal roofs, because if you have snow, as it warms up, the snow just, slides off roofs. Outside of the fact that the cost is just amazingly different.
That was my understanding from the meeting, was that the metal roof was going to inflate the cost way beyond anything we could afford. Mary, if you wanted to ask your question that I saw in the chat, go ahead.
I just wanted to, make mention that we never seem to have a good place to advertise for our upcoming events anywhere in town other than a piece of paper in the post office. And at one point when we were talking about Strauss Park, there was going to be some area where we could post, whatever. So just throwing that out there. I hope that's still in the plan. I mean, that's got nothing to do with, the booths in a sense, but just stapling from experience, just stapling things on the walls. It's cute, but it's not I don't think it's a long-term
Effective
solution.
Yeah. Fair. Are there any other comments on Cindy, do you need some action from us today as far as option 1 or option 2? Or is it possible that we could let everyone look at the designs and make a recommendation at our March meeting? What would be most timeline appropriate for you?
Well, timeline appropriate, we would love to sort of know now. The other thing is that if I'm going to try to supplement some of this fund with grant fund, I have a March 4 deadline.
Okay, so let's go ahead and Jen Y, if it's possible, if you could please share your screen one more time, and we are going to need formal action from the commission this morning as far as option 1 or option 2. So if you could pull up those 2 sketches, that would be great.
Yeah, may I make a comment? I'm trying to break in, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't see anybody, so just talk, guys. I'm sorry. Hot Mess Express today.
So Cindy, this is the same Strauss that we've been talking about, correct? She's muted.
You mean the person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam Strauss.
Yeah. So I just want everyone on the commission and anyone listening in to understand that it goes beyond Strauss Park. Strauss used to, and jump in, Cindy, if I've been misunderstanding our conversations, but Strauss used to run a bar, correct?
No, he ran a big clothing store.
A big clothing store.
Yeah. Okay. In your place, Stahl ran a bar.
Oh, Stahl. I'm confusing Stahl and Strauss. I'm sorry. So
yeah, but Strauss was in your place running a big store. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess about what the point I'm simply making is the park is really tied to that whole block because, the buildings on Rose Street, and mine in particular, actually served as a place that they ran businesses out of. So.
It's true.
And mute. Okay. So sorry, I was muted for a second. Okay, so since we are looking here at option one, go ahead, Cindy, one more.
That is option one with the booth back, and option two is L shape. I like Kevin's definition. It's broken L or L.
Okay. So just to be, so the broken L is option one and the L is option two, correct? I'm sorry,
Yes.
I wish I could get my computer to work. Okay. Commission, we need to make a recommendation. I should ask Jen Jordan, from a marketing standpoint, do you have a preference before the commission takes action?
Well, my preference, just at first glance and the explanation of the storage piece, is that option two looks to be better, but I may be missing something. Is there an advantage to option one that I'm not totally grasping? Like, why would we choose that one when it seems to be a lot more user-friendly and conducive to have option two be the first choice?
If you note, option one gives you a slight advantage in space in the park by pushing those booths back. You have
Okay.
enlarged that corner of the park slightly. Not greatly, incidentally, but you can see in the diagram where the diagram shows where the current booths are.
Yep.
And if you push them back, you've given yourself a little bit more room in the park.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that's significant enough to take away from the more user-friendly piece of option two. So, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself. Option two for me.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, option two, guys, does give us a lot of flexibility that we definitely have been asking for a very long time. Because option two really can configure to anything we want it to. And then if you're looking at option two, having that additional access to the restroom is helpful. Anyone else? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cindy, or whoever.
Option
just
one will allow you to configure. This has a very awkward storage problem, which is
Oh,
going
okay.
to inhibit your desire to configure. I mean, it's easier to configure things if you've got the pieces close by.
I do have another question. In option two, how will it be passively explained through wayfinding where the restrooms are? It seems like option one, it's if you have an open doorway there, people are probably more curious to walk through that and they're going to find the restrooms in option one easier. But in option two, how would you make up for that with wayfinding? Or has that been discussed?
Yes, it has, because Kevin, in option two, the L has two booths, but it has the open space and that has a wing wall. And your signage will be right there. That's where you're going. Yeah, you'll know that's your gateway to the restrooms because you will have essentially signed it right on that corner.
Okay, great. It's just visitors are very disoriented.
Yes.
And so the more clear it can be. So if it's too tucked away, the restrooms, that could be problematic. So yeah, as long as it's been addressed and the realizations there, I'm fine. I'm good. And I like option two, by the way.
Okay.
Can I beat this dead horse one more time, just so I understand? Maybe it's
By
too
all
early for
means.
me. So with option two, there's still that walkway through the L area so that people can access the restroom. They don't have to go all the way around to the Rose Street side like they would now and walk back to the restroom. Is that correct? There's still a
They can
cut.
go through, Mary, we just have a roof over it.
Okay, that's fine. I just because of the way the green is marked on the back, which I think is the storage area. Like,
Yes.
you know, it just looked like it was, it doesn't go that whole way. That's fine. As long as there's a walkway and open area to the restroom, there are cut through, back way, shortcut, whatever.
What
That's
this
cool.
doesn't
Thanks.
show is the cut through because the roof is still over it.
I get it.
And
Okay.
I actually think there's an advantage to having a roof over that open space.
Yeah, for the line that forms in the rain.
Yes. It's in the rain. You've got it.
Thanks.
So just to be clear, guys, I was finally able to download the sketches or the packet that Jen included in our packets today. And option 2 is the L-shaped design with an attached storage section with column spacing to yield 8 feet wide by 8 foot deep booths along the K&A side and 10 foot wide by 8 foot wide in the L. 10 foot by 8 deep booths in the L. So
Yeah.
I heard from Mary, we heard from Kevin, Steve.
Steve?
Steve stepped away for a second.
Okay. Okay. And I'm just trying to look at the, oh, Kyle. I'm sorry, we need to overlook you again. Well-oiled machine over here this morning. Any thoughts on the booths, Kyle?
I'm leaning toward option 2, but I don't have a strong opinion.
I did see just something in the chat. I apologize. You guys get to keep looking at my. I mean, I did see Deanne, excuse me, what happens to the existing memorials. I don't think that's on our scope of recommendations. I think we just need to focus on what Parks and Rec needs us to provide, which is the recommendation for the booths. I would definitely take that to them and ask them thoughts. Because it is a good question. So
The answer is nothing happens to existing memorials at the moment.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, it's not in the scope.
not in the purview. Okay. Okay, so it sounds like the majority of the commission is leaning towards option 2. Just as a formality, if I can get a recommendation, a motion for recommendation, and then a second.
We haven't heard
Steve.
from Steve yet, I don't think. And also Jen was a option 2.
Yes, it sounds like everyone was option 2. Did I say 1? I meant 2.
Yes,
Did we hear from Steve?
I'm in favor of option 2. I'm sorry, I had to step away, but I'm in favor of option 2.
Okay, so I think we're all on the same page. I am also in favor of option 2, and so if we could get a recommendation or a motion for recommendation.
I move that we, as a commission, recommend option 2 for the renovation and improvements of the booths in Strauss Park.
Excellent, and can I have a second, please?
I second the motion.
Excellent, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. So officially, we're recommending option 2. Cindy, thank you so much for attending this morning. We very much appreciate your time and effort. And I know you've been an absolute rock star as always in helping with the funding and all of the engagement. We are very much looking forward to supporting this project in any way we can as a commission, and are looking forward to having a improved Strauss Park for our visitors and our locals alike. So thank you so much for your time. Okay. I apologize. It's going to take me like 10 minutes to get the agenda to probably re-download. So give me a second. All right.
The next thing would
brochures-
be, go ahead, you
Brochures,
found
I
it.
think.
Sorry, I was just trying to
Got
help.
it.
Sorry.
No, thank you. I really appreciate it. Brochures update. We'll keep it short and sweet. Kyle, have you and Jen connected on getting the brochure that with the updates that need to happen?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yep, we're good to go on that. I've got everything I need and I'm redesigning those currently. And then as far as the banners go, those designs have been updated as well. And Jen is, I believe, shopping printers at the moment, but I'll let her weigh in on that.
Excellent. I did see the file with the updated, and again, and just to be clear, so everybody, the redesign of the banners does not include any major updates outside of the font color. So that was so that it's all consistent, and that file is available. And if anybody wants it, just email Kyle so you guys can look at it, but it's going to be exactly what we've been looking at, just with the white instead of the black font. So thank you so much, Kyle, as always. We appreciate you. We will move on to the Winterfest update because there is a lot to unpack on that front, and I will let Jen take the.
All right. Yes, Winterfest has been the primary focus of the last couple of weeks. There's kind of 3 different pieces of Winterfest that are happening potentially, focusing on the 2 major, which will be a full Strauss Park with vendors. Actually reached out to some different vending groups for this event to get some different options and things we maybe haven't seen before that are unique. And I had an overwhelming response to actually needing to really weed it out. But we are full with vendors in Strauss Park. We will also have live music, providing their fingers will not freeze off while playing on library stage. That's going to be provided by Rob Solomon. He's getting together a bluegrass band of sorts that will play. There will be potentially per Randy a road closure between 6th and not quite up to 5th on Rose. If he doesn't feel like it's necessary, he will remove the barricades, but we're going to start out that way. We will also have 1 food truck in the same place that it was located in the parking lot for Bighorn sheep. The second piece will be more, that's the piece that's kind of taken over by CCMRD, and that will be in Worland Park. They are sponsoring a hockey tournament during the day. Please, if anyone likes hockey or knows people like hockey, get them to sign up. We do have some teams interested. It's basically 3-on-3, no goalie. That will be happening during the day. We will also have in the dog park side of Worland, we will have a few vendors, some food vendors, potentially some other merchandise vendors, depending on our power situation, which Scott is working on solving for me today, but he doesn't think it will be an issue. Cabin Creek will be serving 2 different pours of beer in the park as well. The second piece of that will be the evening 4 to 8 piece, where there will be DJ provided music, some lights, continuing with the vendors throughout the whole day on what street? On Taos between Park and 11th. We'll also be closing that street off because we'll have 2 food trucks there. All of these food trucks are really awesome. They're great looking trucks. One is a full dessert type truck, and the other is everything cheese, grilled cheese sandwiches, Philly cheesesteak. We thought we'd put the heaviest food near where beer was being served. So hopefully they'll be super happy. But there will be a road closure on Taos between Park and 11th, and then we will have temporary no parking signs on the north side of Park as well. There will hopefully be ice driving. We've been trying to drive some spectators down that way, but we haven't seen it yet, but hopefully by then that'll be good to go. And that is, I think I'm covering all of the Winterfest activities. If you haven't seen the social media posts, it's obviously on the events page, all the different things that are going on. Guanella, I think, was going to potentially have a scavenger hunt that day as well, in 6, kind of leading people on the path. My hope had been originally that we would have the horse and carriage to kind of tie the pieces together. They have lost their carriage and have ordered a new one, but it won't be ready quite yet for this event. So yeah, that is, I think, everything in for Winterfest. All permits have been filed. Kelly is aware of all the things. Oh, there will be also propane heaters and propane fire pit in Worland Park. S'mores will be sold by the rec center as well. All of those logistics have been gone through with Kelly, as well as the food trucks. It looks like we do have the potential with the fire ban lifted that we could also do a bonfire in Strauss, if I can find a volunteer that wants to man that for 4 hours. Volunteers are something that I do still need, if anybody can help me push that a little bit. Deanne, it is February 12th, just one day to answer that question. And I think that's, you're welcome. I think that's all for Winterfest. Any Winterfest questions?
No, Winterfest sounds like it's going to be a great event. It was proposed by 2 6th Street merchants, Gary and Annalisa, and I know they're going to be really happy to see it come to fruition. Is there an update on ice driving, Jen or Steve Y? Steve, sorry, Jen Y or
Yeah.
Steve R. Sorry, thanks.
Yeah, they're out there driving now. Sursa's out there this week, and there will be there is a reservation for February 12th, so there will be ice drivers out there.
Yay.
Yeah, and then I think Jen was going to mention too that they're having ice skating rentals through the rec
Oh,
center down at
that's right.
that. So that'll be really cool for more people could do it. You know.
Yeah, no, thank you for reminding us. Jen Jordan, if you want to take over again.
Yes, there will be skate rental brought by the rec center, so that should make it more open to everybody. Yeah, that's all I really have on Winterfest. You know, we're trying to push it as fast as we can and as many outlets as we possibly can get it out there. Obviously, it's a week from Saturday. This came up pretty quickly, and a lot of pieces came together super fast and have come together super well, but we're still, all the pushes that we can all do obviously will only help. I feel like we have great things in place. We just need the people to come in and enjoy it all. So that'll, and I hope moving forward that we can really, if it, when this is successful, we can really build on it moving forward. There's a lot of cool things that we can definitely add to this, given, a year of planning ahead. And that just, as far as my update goes, kind of brings me to the next piece of that. I mean, that's a lot of focus, is just really planning for and accepting ideas for events as far out as we possibly can. So kind of looking at that summer calendar and trying to get all of that planned out. And so we have all those pieces and can get some unique, hopefully organic press coverage and marketing opportunities in place for all of the cool things we have throughout 2022. That's the strategy anyway. There's only organized skating in Worland for this event, Kevin.
Awesome. Okay. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a good event, and we're very excited to see how it all plays out. Thank you so much, Jen. We will come back to some more summer planning events with the addition of Memorial Day and 4th of July to the agenda today. Anyone else have anything on Winterfest before we move on? Okay. We did table the next 2 items, so we will move on to library update. And I don't know if that is actually going to make the agenda, because I don't know. Do we have anyone from the library? I know Paul wasn't able to be on today. Was it Jen Y? Is anyone on from the library today, or is
No.
do we have
No.
Okay. Did they give us anything on that?
No, I just had that it was a carryover from last meeting, so that's why I
was.
put it on there. Yeah.
No worries. Okay.
I
so
haven't
we'll
heard
go ahead and
anything. Sorry.
no worries at all. Thank you so
Can I
much.
just
We're gonna
throw
go
in
ahead-
my, just an explanation of that? I had brought that up last month. I did talk to Libby at the library, and she does plan on coming to the different meetings in Georgetown, all the commissions, to let us know what their plans are as they receive some formal information from their architects and engineers. So that'll
Okay.
just be a TBD.
Well, thank you. That was very helpful. Okay, well then we'll just roll right into Georgetown Days, which is Memorial Day weekend. Last year was the first year we did Georgetown Days. It was honestly a really successful weekend for us. Georgetown Days was an event that Katie had kind of driven when she was in the position that Jen now holds, and it came out, it was fabulous. I think everyone agreed. So we need to get that on our agendas for the next couple of months to start making plans. So if you guys recall, Georgetown Days, we did a pancake breakfast, and it was Friday, right? Was I wrong? It wasn't Saturday, it was Friday. I couldn't remember. I said Saturday when I was talking, but that was incorrect. We had pancake breakfast on Friday, and then on Saturday was
The borough
I
race.
can't. Thank you. The borough race. I'm like, sorry. It's 7:53 where I am currently. I'm very foggy still.
We did a ribbon cut too on Saturday. Memory serves.
That was Friday
I'm-
with the pancake breakfast.
Oh, thanks, Mary.
When
Oh,
Guanella
that's
Pass,
right.
when the road opens, in addition to the anniversary weekend of Guanella Pass Brewery. No reaction from
have-
Steve.
So we have the ribbon cutting on Friday along with the pancake breakfast. The pancake breakfast was also a benefit fundraiser for Clear Creek veterans. And we raised a lot of money. And I do not know that number right now, and I don't have it. And I will tell you on the next meeting. And I know Mary Sims is on vacation, so we can't get it. But it was like in the vicinity of like $700 or $800, which was cool. So, and then Sunday was, yes, Parker, the Snow Dog attended breakfast. And then Sunday was Georgetown Business Day. That Sunday, we have a little room to kind of maybe try and come up with something to enhance that day. That was, the business day was good. It was, I mean, it was a nice kind of, you know, it was thoughtful, but I don't know how much participation we had. And then Monday, obviously, is the Memorial Day ceremony that takes place in Library Park. So do you guys have any thoughts on any improvements or things that you want to change, or anything that we could do new in place of, you know, to enhance the Sunday? We'll still do the business day, but we could maybe add on something, anything that's sticking out to anybody right now?
One idea that I thought was awesome last year that didn't get acted on was someone mentioned a cornhole tournament. And I just thought
Oh,
that
that's right.
be a cool, I don't know, cool thing to set up in the big park or something, but I like that idea personally.
That's a great idea. I totally forgot about that, Kyle. Cornhole tournament could be really fun. And maybe that would be a great partnership with CCMRD, because that's kind of right up their alley. So Jen, is that conversation you could start engaging in?
Absolutely. I love the idea.
Okay.
Awesome.
Perfect. So maybe a cornhole tournament. Somebody else had also brought up like some type of like a hike or something, and I can't remember, like a guided hike on the Rutherford, if I remember right, or I can't remember exactly. So maybe having a conversation with Kim Knox too, if she'd be interested in doing something to promote that day. But I think a cornhole tournament's a good plan. And then continuing on with everything else, I'll let you guys marinate on that a little bit and kind of see what else sounds exciting on that day. We'll only have 2 meetings after this one. No, yeah, it'll be 2, excuse me. So we need to definitely keep things moving. But as far as the rest of the activities, we'll continue with what we did last year and add on.
To include the business day on Sunday?
I think so.
With some kind
yeah,
of
no.
expanding
Yeah.
on it, but
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, I think if I remember right, basically, it was that businesses could all write in and say it's something they were doing, like it's a promotion that was included in the advertising materials. And it was like super simple. Like I think Guanella like released a beer and like we did like happy hour all day or something. I can't remember exactly how it went. Like I think there was like maybe 30, no, not 30. I'm really tired, you guys. Let's say like 10 participants. But it was good. It was good to promote businesses. So yeah. Does anyone else have anything on Georgetown Days? Cool. Okay. The other thing that we do need to get on the agenda is the 4th of July. That's what my kid calls it, is the 4th of July. Independence Day celebrations in Georgetown. Obviously a very important part of our summer activities. Oh, I'm sorry, but I need to back up. I did reach out to Stephen Derhoos on the borough race. Patty is not doing the borough race this year. They have not determined a replacement for her. So they will keep us in the loop as far as that's going, and when that will go. I can't see anybody. Sorry. Okay, so 4th of July, obviously we have the parade. There's been some discussions about what we can do to kind of, we've struggled with this for years and years and years on what we can do to kind of improve the 6th Street activities during the day that take place between the barbecue and whatever else we have or don't have, because we're probably not going to be able to have fireworks. Do you guys have any thoughts? Everyone's very quiet.
So I'll jump in here. There's been some conversation with some businesses last 4th of July of trying to, bring back some of the activities on 6th Street. I know there's some concern for safety, in comparison with the way the old hose cart races were done in the bucket brigade, but perhaps we can, change them a little bit so that they conform in a safer manner and people aren't slipping off of tall buildings, whatever the issues were. But so the thought is, let's start thinking of that now and not trying to pull it together in June, which seems to be our typical memo. If we need to get some things underway or have some conversations and find out what the parameters and concerns are of fire or police or EMS or whatever, and brainstorm and see how we can, work around that and with that.
Amanda, I have a comment.
Yes,
Actually,
sir.
it's more of a word of encouragement. I think we are potentially making a mistake as a community by not having these activities like bucket brigade and hose cart races. And I say that because as much effort as we put into preserving the built environment, we have neglected the culture of Georgetown. And these activities speak to the culture of Georgetown. And so I encourage everybody, when they're thinking about marketing their own businesses or marketing the town or improving the quality of life here, to not ignore the culture of the site, the culture of the place, the spirit of the place. And these activities embrace that and display it proudly. And so I think it's a big mistake to do away with these and walk away from this part of our history. I'm with Mary. Let's find out a way that it complies with safety standards, and let's reignite interest.
I definitely agree. And I think that it's a hole in our festivities that we don't get to do these things. Maybe the best approach is, between now and our next meeting, would be for a couple of us, myself and Jen and maybe Kevin, we'll ask you if we could maybe go to Kelly, because I think that's obstacle 1, and kind of have a conversation with him. Let's see if we can schedule a meeting with him and just kind of get some feedback on what would be sort of a good, happy middle ground compromise for us as a town to get the activities reignited, and then take it from there. Because I think that the big obstacles are from and rightfully so, we understand our public safety officials and our first responders. They're the ones that have to deal with all of the side effects of anything that goes awry. So I certainly carry most respect for them and their advice and their decisions. But if we could find a way to kind of compromise in between, that would be a good start. And would you be up for that, Kevin?
Yes, and I'd like to include Jen Jordan in this group.
Yeah, Jen for sure. Jen and you and me.
Partially because, don't hate me for giving you homework, but
Okay.
could you maybe contact other municipalities here in Colorado who do races? I know I think is it Central City or Cripple Creek that does a brass bed race. And to me, that is the same concept. And then I think there's a coffin race. How are these people pulling it off and we can't?
Coffin race is Netherland.
Yeah, there you go. And so I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. If there is some way to do this that complies with safety standards, apparently they've figured it out. And so
Now
this,
that was, oh, sorry.
no, that's it. That's it. We need to talk to
That-
other people.
That was going to be my strategy as well, is just to try to research, the safe versions of similar activities that I can find throughout the state or the country, wherever I can find them. So that was going to be my approach. So happy to do the homework.
I need to ask a question though. Did we ever propose different kinds of races, and were they turned down because of safety? Because my understanding is the town really got behind and really loved two things about 4th of July, not the only two things, but they loved the Bucket Brigade, which I think was more related to the amount of labor and effort by the fire department and the safety concerns regarding climbing ladders or whatever, and carrying buckets and everything. But I think that's separate from saying the brass bed race, where people would race for brass beds. I don't know how that would be, or did we previously propose something, a race outside of the Bucket Brigade, and we got turned down?
Since I've been in town, we haven't. I was told that both events were because of safety concerns, and I know that volunteer
which both the
hose cart and Bucket Brigade, because there was the hose cart races where they like pulled the old fashioned hose cart, like the old fire equipment.
Who was pulling them though? Was it the fire department pulling them?
It was whoever. It was teams. So it was like if you wanted a Guanilla Pass team, you could have you and whoever else, and you guys would have a team of people, and you would race against me and my team, and we would race.
And the town rejected citizens pulling a thing for a race?
It's my understanding that
I wouldn't say the town did. I think it was the fire chief.
Well, okay. Well, I guess you got to bifurcate what the fire department is and isn't willing to do with their own staff, i.e. the Bucket Brigade, versus the town planning a race. That unless the fire department has authority over, someone hurting their back, a citizen hurting their back because they pulled too hard on a cart or something like that.
The Bucket Brigade were teens and tweens. They were kids. They were local citizens, and they were.
No, I know, but there was always there was always fire department personnel involved with the Bucket Brigade. Unless I never saw it. That's why.
No, you're right. They set up the scaffolding and the stairs and everything. And here's a simple fix for the Bucket Brigade. Don't do an elevated Bucket Brigade. Do it down the block. Just hand the buckets, and fill up the pool at the end. It doesn't have to be elevated. So there's the fix there.
Exactly. And I think all these can be resolved in the conversation that the subcommittee has with EMS, and then we can go from there. Just because, and I don't doubt that maybe the interest dwindled at one time, but I think it's been rekindled, and it would be a big draw for people to come here, and after the parade and the park activities and City Park, that they could go back downtown and, participate in all of that.
I mean, what I've heard over the years I've been involved is, and this can be overcome, and I think we're trying to overcome it, but with the loss of fireworks, it kind of put a damper on everyone's attitudes locally for the 4th of July. It basically, it'll never be the same. We're not going to have fireworks. And I think, for lack of better terms, the morale of people getting behind these kind of things dropped. And I think this kind of an effort is what's necessary to bring the morale up, because we know fireworks are not going to happen, right? So.
Yeah, everyone has to get, fireworks are an increasingly volatile thing, especially in Colorado with the fire danger that we have. And the biggest concern of our fireworks is that if we have to postpone them or do away with them because we are in a fire ban, what type of how the town incurs the financial loss. Fireworks are super expensive, and
Yeah,
so
so there's a whole new generation. A lot of them are on this call right now that want to see 4th of July keep happening with a parade, with races and everything else that overcome all of the prior objections and obstacles, right?
I did, on a side note, reach out to some of the companies that are doing the, I don't even know what you would call them, laser shows, I guess would be the best way to describe it. The kind of the new fad in fireworks, which is the big virtual laser show. Drones, thank you. Yeah, the ones that are done with drones. I have not heard back. I just sent the emails like a couple days ago, just in kind of a side conversation. So hopefully I have some results to report on our next meeting. But I think for now, I think we have a good plan to kind of try and at least get something going, and that will give us a better trajectory for the next meeting to know if we should start booking bands, if we should start looking at a street closure. I'm sorry, you guys, I keep seeing nice things in the chat, and I have to put my hand over my whole camera since I'm on my stupid phone. So I saw it was Kevin, and then I did see that Deanne had some things in the chat too. Kevin, what did you just type in the chat?
A few months ago, Hotel de Paris Museum acquired an image, a 19th century image of a hose cart race on 6th Street. Actually, may have still been Alpine Street. So it's a cool picture of runners with a cart with Hotel de Paris in the background.
Oh, cool.
And so I'd be very happy to lend that image to any marketing efforts. So just know that it's out there. It's a fantastic image. And
nice.
We typically don't spend money on acquisitions, but this image was so special. We invested in it, and I'd like to use it now.
That's really cool. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll just kind of keep this conversation going. But for now, I will be back in town on Sunday. Hopefully I'm not still wearing the same clothes. And next week we can start kind of making a plan to engage the EMS piece, and we'll come back with hopefully some positive results for our March meeting that we can update the group on. And I appreciate you guys, Kevin and Jen, being voluntold to be on this subcommittee with me, but I think that we can hopefully make something happen. Anything else on 4th of July before we move on to the streetlights? Okay. So streetlights, Kevin, I will let you take the floor.
First, I'd like to thank our interim town manager, Steve, for helping me learn a bit about our street lamps in the historic commercial district. So I've been talking about this for a long time. All of us have. And when Kent was here, Kent was under the impression that the town was responsible for the operation and maintenance of the street lamps. And so this could be illustrated by them repairing some of the lenses that would break in the wind and cleaning the lenses and working with our commission on the right light bulbs, all of that sort of thing. Well, when I asked Steve, I turned in to him an inventory of issues and locations with the lights. And what he found out is the operation and maintenance is not the town's, but it is Excel's. And so we were focusing on the wrong entity. The town apparently pays for the power that goes to the lights, but the operation and maintenance is Excel. So I went on to Excel's website, and there is a process to report an issue. And so I went ahead as an experiment and reported the 2 lights that are in the block with Hotel de Paris. And what I learned was the checklist of options is very limited. The concerns I have are not listed. And so it wasn't very helpful. So I went ahead and I just clicked some options just to initiate a work order, and I saw no activity. And Excel said they would follow up with any questions. And so I was hoping that when they came out, they saw what I had tagged was not the situation, that they would contact me, nothing. And so at this point, I feel a bit castrated as a citizen and as a business owner and as a commission. So I think at this point, we need to hand over the issues with the street lamps to the town of Georgetown and let that professional staff deal with Excel.
I know that I had a citizen email me a picture of the one that's actually, Kevin, it's right down by the Hotel de Paris. The one that's broken, that's shattered.
Oh yeah, and there are exposed wires sticking out and rust, and some of them aren't working. Some of them work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's really a broad array of problems that are being ignored.
So how can we, I 100% agree that this definitely should be escalated.
I don't think this commission has political clout. Apparently it doesn't. And apparently as a citizen and as a business person, I don't either. And so I would like Steve or somebody with some political clout in town to take this on. Steve Ray.
Yeah.
And to let you know, Scott ran into quite a few problems when he was putting up Christmas decorations, and he made contact with Excel and he got some decent response, but nobody ever showed up to take care of the problems. Just as Kevin said, I mean, you got bare wires hanging out on some of those fixtures. And so I know that Scott, and I think I told Kevin this, that Scott reached out to a second person and we got nothing but promises, but we still, I guess, let's put it this way. We've been busy enough with other stuff that we haven't been able to get on their nag list, I guess. And I think with Kevin's frustration, maybe we need to just prioritize that, at least from my perspective, and see if we can't get some response from them. We have a franchise with them, and I'm sure they'd like to continue to maintain that, but they also need to adhere to the terms of that franchise, which is
Absolutely.
the responsibility for maintenance. So I appreciate Kevin's efforts, and I'm sorry he's frustrated, but he can share with our frustration, because even the town hasn't been able to make much stroke with them. We get, we're so busy doing something here, there, and the other. But
yeah,
if the commission would like, I'll see what I can do, and I'll put it up on my prioritization list. And I've got 7 more weeks to be a thorn in their side, I guess, and we'll see what we can do.
Well, Steve, I think you made a big breakthrough by determining who is responsible, and knowing that it's Excel is I think a huge step ahead. But yeah, let's hold their feet to the fire now.
Happy to do that. That I'll actually I'm working on my council packet while you guys are talking today. So I'll actually put that down. So there'll be a nag note, not only for myself, but for that you guys could keep track of with my task list, but also for the new administrators that they come aboard.
I lost my camera. Sorry, guys. Okay. Steve, thank you. That's very helpful. And it's super frustrating. I mean, and however we can support you in that, because it is, it's definitely an important part of our town's aesthetic. And it is super frustrating, but obviously we're dealing with Excel. And so,
yeah. Well, and we had Aquila here and had representatives that if you had problems with community issues that you could reach out to. I'm sure Excel has a similar counterpart. We just need to find who that person is, and I'm Jennifer may know, et cetera, et cetera. So let me work on that when I get back to town next week.
Sounds good. And why I have you on the spot, have we heard anything on the Alpine hose?
I haven't. Jennifer, didn't we? Did we talk about that the other day?
I haven't got an update from Kelly from the last time when he said that they had finally found somebody and that they were in the process of getting it repaired. The last I heard.
Okay. All right.
It seemed to me that somebody had said something, there might be some difficulty in finding the parts. Surprise, surprise. But
yeah. Maybe when we meet with Kevin and Jen and I go to talk to Chief Babian about 4th of July, we can have a conversation about the Alpine hose as well. So, Steve Skalski, do you have anything you want to add on that?
I think we should keep it on the agenda until it happens. I know talking about town aesthetics, it's part of the town aesthetic to have that bell ringing.
Mhm.
Honestly, I'm not joking. One of the reasons why I'm in town. I mean, how quaint was it to open a brewery in a dead of winter town with nothing going on, but the bell was ringing. So sorry, call me sentimental, but I think that bell is very important.
I totally agree, and I definitely, I think you're 100% right, and it needs to be handled. I do know that I think everything is in just slow motion still from the pandemic, so hopefully we can fix it. Anything else that we need to discuss today before we move on to the minutes? Jen, I'm so sorry, Jen. Why I did come by town hall yesterday before we flew out to sign the minutes, but you guys were in a staff meeting and I didn't want to bust into your staff meeting over a signature. So I will sign the minutes from the last meeting when I get back, and I apologize I didn't get over there sooner.
You're fine. Thank you.
No worries. On the minutes, the only thing I noticed was there was a typo on hockey. On
Hockey.
agenda.
Okay, what page are you on?
On page 1,
Okay.
hockey's misspelled in the agenda
Oh,
approval.
I
Easy
see
fix. Yeah,
Thank you for that typo correction.
no worries. I didn't catch anything else in the minutes. Did anyone else catch anything else? Okay. I make a motion to approve the January 5th minutes. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Motion carries. Sorry, I'm trying to, okay. Anything else today before I go try and find my suitcase? Sorry, guys. I'm sorry I'm such a mess this morning. It's been a long day and a half. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll
And a
second.
second.
I'll
All in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, it is 9:20 a.m. And I adjourn the meeting. Thank you guys for your time. We will hopefully have good updates next month. Appreciate you all as always. And thank you for the thoughtful comments on the Strauss Park discussion. Have a great day, guys.